Hi everybody, my name is Shanae and I'm the Manager of Operations and Education for the Respiratory Therapy Department. Today we're going to be talking about our newest addition to our ventilator fleet, which is the Hamilton T1. We actually have used the Hamilton T1 for many years in our neonatal and pediatric populations, primarily for internal and external transports. So this machine has been tried and true on even some of our sickest and smallest patients. So we are really happy to now be bringing it to adults to accompany our servo U's, Mindrays, LTVs, Trilogies, and all of our other ventilators. So with the Hamilton T1, we're going to be able to invasively ventilate patients. So that means endotracheal tubes and tracheostomies. We are also going to be able to ventilate non-invasively. So that's CPAP and BiPAP. One of my favorite functions of the Hamilton T1 is going to be how we're able to seamlessly transport our patients. So your patients can remain on their T1 while they're in the ICU. And if your patient has to leave the floor for a procedure, so if they have to go to CAT scan, if they have to go to IR, if they have to go to dialysis, wherever they have to go, we're going to be able to just disconnect from the wall, add an oxygen tank. So there's built-in tank holders on the bottom, and we could be well on our way. It's going to be the actual ventilator. On the bottom of the stand is going to be where we have our humidifier heater, as well as the tank holder for when we're going on transport. If we turn it to the side, that's where you'll see where the ventilator circuit is connected, as well as other wires like the neuron capsule in order to do device integration. Also, all of the Hamiltons have been equipped with brand new ventilator arms, so that will be amazing for positioning your patients properly, as well as being able to offload the weight of the tubing. So once we're ready to ventilate our patients, we will press the ventilation button, and this is the screen that will pop up. There's many different things on this screen, as well as buttons on this side. So we're going to spend a little bit of time going through each of them and explaining what each of them do and mean. So first, let's start on the left-hand side. Right over here in the left-hand upper corner, we're going to see the actual mode that your patient is on. Then, if we come over to the right-hand side, we're going to be able to see the settings that your patient is on. So if we click on controls, that's going to give us the complete settings for our patient. So the settings in totality. If we come over to the left-hand side, we're going to have the monitoring values for our patient. And if we want to see the complete list of monitoring values, we're going to tap where it says monitoring. And here you'll be able to see different values for your patient. So just to break that down again, it says controls. So that's going to be your settings because we're controlling that part. Monitoring is going to be what your patient is doing. So we can't control that part. That's going to be based on your patient. And that's going to be on the left-hand side. Then smack dab in the middle is going to be our waveforms, which is a very important tool for assessing our patient's ventilation. And we have our pressure waveform, our flow waveform, and our volume waveform. On the right-hand side, we have several buttons. So first at the top, we have the power button. Then underneath that, we have a button that's going to change the brightness of the screen. We have the lock button, which we would not use because we do not lock our ventilator screens. We have a manual inspiratory button. So to give your patient a mandatory breath, we don't use that often, but that is there. Okay, I triggered an alarm. Next, we have the O2 boost button. So when you press this button, we're going to be giving our patient 100% for 2 minutes. Next, we have a button to save the screen if we want to take a screenshot. And then over here, we have a button that's going to be for nebulizers, which we will not be using because we utilize our Aerogen controllers. Down here is the silence button. And then this is going to be the dial for when we're changing settings. So the screen is touch screen. So once we touch it, in order to change the setting, we're going to use this dial here. And then once again, we have to remember that once we have the setting that we want in, we're going to confirm by pressing again on the screen or by pressing in the dial. So whichever one floats your boat. On the Hamilton ventilator, there will be low priority alarms and high priority alarms, just like our other ventilators. Low priority alarms will flash in yellow. So for example, this would be an example of a low priority alarm. So like our other ventilators, low priority alarm is signifying that we need to take a look at the patient as well as the machine, but it's not something that we must drop everything and run into the room. Then we have high priority alarms, which are emergencies and that you must address immediately. So for example, if your patient got disconnected from the ventilator, disconnection on patient side, as we all can agree, being disconnected from the ventilator is definitely an emergency. So with many of our patients and ventilators, when it's alarming, we're going to first look at our patient and make sure that they are stable and okay, trace back, and then deal with the ventilator. So always patient first. So if your patient is not stable, you're going to take the patient off the ventilator and you're going to bag them, call the respiratory therapist so they can take a look at the ventilator, and then if needed, escalate to the team. If your patient is stable, trace the circuit back to see if you can find a disconnection or a kink, because those are going to be the most common things that lead to alarms being triggered. If you are unable to quickly see what it is, immediately call the respiratory therapist and they will come and assess and find a solution. So once again, this is the Hamilton T1 and we are super excited to start using it for our adult patients. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please reach out to myself or to a member of the leadership team for respiratory. We'll be more than happy to assist you. I think that this is very straightforward. This machine is very modern, and once again, we're just excited to start using it. Thank you.